Ireland's story ends with a surprising kind of clarity. The country is rich, but not always in the way people imagine. It is not a giant industrial empire. It is not a vast land full of endless natural resources. It is not a country whose wealth can be understood only by looking at farms, factories, or local streets. Ireland became rich by becoming a strategic place in the global economy. It turned language into an advantage. It turned location into a bridge. It turned membership in Europe into access. It turned business policy into attraction. It turned smallness into focus. And that is why the Irish story feels so unusual. The same island that once watched generations leave in search of opportunity became a country where opportunity arrived from around the world. But the lesson is not that numbers are meaningless. The lesson is that numbers need interpretation. GDP showed one Ireland, spectacular, almost unbelievable, and richer than expected. Daily life showed another Ireland, successful but pressured, expensive, and still trying to make prosperity feel real for more people. The truth is found between them. Ireland is not poor pretending to be rich, and it is not a perfect paradise overflowing with easy wealth. It is a small country that made one of the smartest economic moves of the modern era. It became the place where global wealth could pass through, settle, and grow. That made the world look at Ireland differently, but it also forced Ireland to look at itself more carefully. And perhaps that is the most powerful part of the story. The real Irish miracle is not that the country became rich overnight. The real miracle is that a small island on the edge of Europe learned how to make the world need it. And once that happened, Ireland no longer had to chase the global economy. The global economy came to Ireland. To understand why Liechtenstein feels so unusual, the viewer first has to imagine its scale. This is not a large nation with endless land. It is not a country with millions of workers filling massive cities. It is not a place built around huge ports, giant airports, or enormous natural resources. It is a microstate, a small country in the Alps, surrounded by bigger neighbors and shaped by mountains, valleys, and borders that seem almost too narrow for a modern economy. And yet Liechtenstein has one of the highest standards of living in the world. That contrast is what makes the story so powerful. Most people expect rich countries to look a certain way. They imagine oil wealth, global banks, massive factories, or huge populations. They imagine something large, visible, and impossible to ignore. Liechtenstein is different. Its wealth is quiet. There are no giant signs announcing it. There is no need for constant attention. The country does not act like a superpower. It does not try to dominate the world stage. Instead, it appears calm, almost modest. But under that calm surface, Liechtenstein built a system where almost every advantage matters. Its location matters. Its currency matters. Its laws matter. Its industries matter. Its reputation matters. Its stability matters. Nothing is wasted. In a country this small, every decision carries weight. A mistake can be expensive. A weakness can be dangerous. But a well-designed system can become incredibly powerful. And this is the first key to the mystery. Liechtenstein did not become rich by accident. It became rich because it learned how to turn its limits into a strategy. The first limit was geography. And that geography at first looked like a trap. Liechtenstein sits in a position that could have made it vulnerable. It is landlocked. It has no access to the sea. It is surrounded by larger countries, and it lies in a region where history, trade, borders, and power have always mattered. For many small nations, this kind of geography creates dependence. A country without the sea needs roads, neighbors, agreements, and stability. It cannot simply act alone. It has to connect. It has to negotiate. It has to survive between forces much larger than itself. But Liechtenstein did something different. Instead of seeing its position only as a weakness, it used that position as a foundation. Being between Switzerland and Austria placed Liechtenstein inside one of the wealthiest, safest, and most organized regions in Europe. And that environment became part of its value. The relationship with Switzerland became especially important. Switzerland was already known for stability, neutrality, finance, and a strong currency. By connecting itself closely to the Swiss economic environment, Liechtenstein gained a level of trust that would have been difficult to build alone. Trust may not look dramatic on camera. It is not as visible as oil, gold, ports, or factories. But in the modern economy, trust can be more powerful than all of them. When companies decide where to invest, they look for stability. When wealthy families decide where to hold assets, they look for security. When businesses decide where to establish operations, they look for predictability. Liechtenstein understood this. It did not need to become the biggest country in Europe. It needed to become one of the most reliable. And reliability, in the right place, can attract enormous wealth. The deeper power of Liechtenstein's geography is not only where it is what that location allowed the country to become. Near Switzerland, near Austria, and connected to the wider European economy, Liechtenstein could offer something valuable: access without chaos. It was small but stable, quiet but connected, independent but protected by its relationships. This balance became one of its greatest strengths. A small country alone can seem fragile, but a small country surrounded by stability can become a safe platform, a place where companies and capital feel protected, a place where the rules do not change suddenly, a place where long-term decisions can be made with confidence. And for Liechtenstein, confidence became an economic asset. Its small size helped it move carefully. Its institutions could remain focused. Its policies could be consistent. Its public image could stay calm and controlled. This is something many larger countries struggle to achieve. Large nations often face huge political conflicts, regional divisions, massive public demands, and complicated bureaucracies. Their size gives them strength, but also creates friction. Liechtenstein had a different challenge. It was too small to make big mistakes, so it had to become precise. It had to protect its reputation. It had to keep its economy attractive. It had to stay useful to businesses, investors, and international markets. This is why the country's quiet appearance can be misleading. The calm streets, mountain views, and small towns do not reveal weakness. They reveal control. Liechtenstein's geography may have limited its territory, but it expanded its economic possibilities. It learned to stand between giants without being crushed by them. And once that foundation was secure, the country could build something that surprises many people. Not just banks, not just financial services, but a real industrial economy. When people hear about Liechtenstein, many imagine a hidden financial world. They picture private banks, low taxes, discreet offices, and money moving quietly through the mountains. And yes, finance is part of the story. But if the story stops there, it misses something essential. Liechtenstein is not only a place where wealth is stored, it is also a place where wealth is created. Behind the peaceful alpine image, the country has developed a surprisingly strong industrial base for its size. It is home to companies that produce specialized goods, advanced components, precision tools, and export-oriented products. This is where the viewer begins to see the country differently. Liechtenstein is not rich simply because money passes through it. It is rich because its economy learned to produce value in areas where size is not the most important factor. A large country can compete by producing massive quantities. It can use huge factories, huge workforces, and huge internal markets. Liechtenstein could not do that. So it chose another path. It focused on quality, on specialization, on high productivity, on industries where precision matters. This choice is important because it breaks the simple stereotype. The country is not just a quiet tax shelter surrounded by mountains. It is a small economic machine, built around services and industry working together. That combination makes its wealth more durable. Finance brings capital and global connections. Industry brings production, exports, jobs, and real economic output. Together, they create something stronger than either one alone. And this is one of the hidden reasons Liechtenstein became so rich. It did not try to copy large countries. It built a model that matched its size, small, focused, efficient, and extremely productive. For a country like Liechtenstein, specialization is not just a business choice, it is survival. A tiny nation cannot win by doing everything. It cannot become the largest producer in every industry. It cannot rely on a huge internal market to consume what it produces, so it has to ask a different question: where can it be excellent? That question shaped Liechtenstein's economic personality. Instead of chasing scale, the country focused on value. Instead of trying to be everywhere, it became strong in specific areas. Instead of depending only on outside capital, it developed companies capable of competing internationally. This is how a small country can become surprisingly powerful. When it produces specialized goods, it does not need to dominate every market. It only needs to become important in the markets where its companies have deep expertise. That creates a very different kind of wealth: quiet wealth, technical wealth, export wealth, productivity wealth. And this kind of wealth does not always appear in the dramatic images people expect from rich countries. It is not always visible in golden towers or crowded financial districts. Sometimes it is hidden inside factories, engineering firms, family-owned companies, skilled workers and products shipped around the world. Liechtenstein's success shows that wealth can be built through precision. A country can be small and still produce things the world needs. It can have a tiny population and still create enormous value per person. It can lack natural resources and still become rich through knowledge, organization, and trust. But industry alone does not explain the full story. For that industry to grow and for financial activity to expand, Liechtenstein needed a system around it. A system that made the country attractive. A system that turned smallness into a platform. And that system is where the real hidden machine begins to appear. At the center of Liechtenstein's wealth is a simple idea. If a country is small, it must become useful. Liechtenstein understood this deeply. It could not offer a huge domestic market. It could not offer endless natural resources. It could not offer the scale of a major power, so it offered something else: stability, legal security, competitive taxes, a strong currency environment, access to wealthy European markets, a business-friendly structure, and a reputation for discretion. Together, these advantages turned Liechtenstein into a platform. Not a platform in the digital sense, but in the economic sense. A place where companies could operate, where capital could feel safe, where industrial firms could grow, where financial services could develop, where international business could find predictability. This is the heart of the country's hidden machine. Many people look at Liechtenstein and see mountains. They see castles. They see a quiet microstate that looks almost disconnected from the speed of the modern world. But behind that image is a system designed to attract movement. Movement of money, movement of companies, movement of goods, movement of services, movement of confidence, and confidence is the key. Because in global business, people do not only look for opportunity, they look for safety. They want to know that rules will be respected, contracts will be protected, taxes will be understandable, and institutions will remain stable. Liechtenstein made that promise part of its identity. It did not become wealthy by shouting for attention. It became wealthy by becoming a place where important economic decisions could be made quietly, safely, and efficiently. And in a world full of uncertainty, that is extremely valuable. There is something unusual about small countries. They can be fragile, but they can also be fast. They can lack scale, but they can gain focus. They can have limited territory, but if managed well, they can become extremely efficient. Liechtenstein used this advantage carefully. Because the country is small, its economic model had to be clear. It could not afford to waste opportunities. It could not depend on one single source of wealth. It needed industry, finance, business services, stable institutions, and international relationships to work together. This created an economy where everything is connected. The strong currency environment supports trust. The legal system supports business. The tax structure attracts companies. The industrial base creates real output. The country's reputation attracts capital. The location connects it to Europe. Each part supports the next. That is why Liechtenstein's wealth feels so much bigger than the country itself. It is not just one secret. It is a system of small advantages stacked on top of each other. And this is where many people misunderstand the country. They look for one dramatic explanation. They ask, is it the banks? Is it the taxes? Is it Switzerland? Is it industry? The answer is not one of them. The answer is the combination. Liechtenstein became rich because it connected all these pieces into a model that fit its size perfectly. A large country might not be able to operate this way. Too many people, too many regions, too many pressures, too many political battles. But Liechtenstein could. Its smallness became focus, its focus became efficiency, and its efficiency became wealth. But this leads to the final and most important question. Can this model be copied? Or does it only work because Liechtenstein is exactly what it is? Small, stable, and trusted. At this point, Liechtenstein no longer looks like an accident. Its wealth is not random. Its success is not magic. Its prosperity is not only the result of one industry, one law, or one lucky location. It is the result of a country understanding its own limits with unusual clarity. Liechtenstein did not try to become Germany. It did not try to become Switzerland. It did not try to become Singapore. It did not try to become a giant. Instead, it became the best version of what a tiny alpine country could be. Stable, specialized, productive, discreet, business-friendly, trusted. But this also explains why the model is difficult to copy. A large country cannot simply decide to become Liechtenstein. A nation with tens of millions of people has different problems. It needs massive public services, larger infrastructure, more complex politics, and broader economic opportunities. It cannot rely on the same level of focus that a microstate can maintain. Liechtenstein's success works partly because the country is small. Its size allows concentration. Its stability protects reputation. Its reputation attracts business. Its business environment creates wealth. Its wealth reinforces stability. The circle continues. But if any part of that circle breaks, the model becomes weaker. That is why the country has to protect its image so carefully. For Liechtenstein, reputation is not decoration, it is infrastructure. Trust is not just a nice idea, it is one of the pillars of the economy, and this is what makes the country's story so fascinating. Liechtenstein is not powerful because it is large. It is powerful because it found a way to become valuable. The story of Liechtenstein ends with a clear realization. This country did not become rich by following the path of great empires. It did not conquer oceans. It did not discover giant oil reserves. It did not build a massive military. It did not become a global cultural giant. It did something quieter. It built a system based on stability, trust, specialization, industry, finance, and precision. And once that system began working, the country's small size stopped looking like a weakness. It became part of the advantage. Small meant focused. Focused meant efficient. Efficient meant attractive. Attractive meant wealthy. That is the hidden logic behind Liechtenstein. Its mountains may be beautiful, but they are not the real story. Its castles may be impressive, but they are not the real source of power. Its quiet streets may look simple, but behind them is one of the most carefully positioned economies in the world. The real lesson is not that every small country can become rich. The real lesson is that size is not the only form of strength. Some countries become powerful by controlling land. Some become powerful by controlling oil. Some become powerful by controlling trade routes. And some, like Liechtenstein, become powerful by controlling trust. That is why this tiny country should not be dismissed. On the map, Liechtenstein looks almost invisible. But in the global economy, it found a place where smallness, stability, and confidence could become worth billions. Liechtenstein did not become rich by trying to look big. It became rich because it understood something many larger countries forget. In the right place, with the right system, being small is not a weakness. It can be the secret.